My mother Karen took my new phone and gave it to my sister, saying that she deserves it more. I've never had a good phone. Usually, I would get a used one from my dad when he got a new one from my mom. She used to say there was no need to buy a new one since I already had a perfectly functional phone. The problem was that the phones were always slow, with a broken screen, and my dad never bothered to clean them. Recently, I started working at a small convenience store in the neighborhood. I didn't make much, but I saved every penny. After 3 months, on my birthday, I combined the money I received as a gift with my savings and bought a relatively expensive new phone for where I live. I was over the moon. I had never owned something like that, and I was very proud to have achieved it through my own efforts. However, that's when the problem started. 2 days later, my mother and sister came to visit. They live on a nearby street but rarely visit us. My sister saw my phone and started asking a lot of questions, which I answered because I was very proud of my phone. Finally, she asked if I could lend her the phone for a few weeks to show off at school. Obviously, I said no. It was an expensive phone, and I wanted to use it. If she took it, I would be without a phone. She fell silent and went to talk to my mother. After that, it was time for me to go to work, and I can't take my phone with me, so I left it in a drawer at home. After working all day, I came home, went to get my phone, and it was simply gone. Both the phone and the receipt were missing. I panicked and asked my dad what happened. He said that my sister wanted to use the phone for a while, so he told her where it was, and they took it. I asked why he did that, and he said because he wanted to, and I shouldn't be so selfish. I went to my mother's house, and they simply said they wouldn't return it and that she was my sister and deserved it more because she's a good girl, and she just wanted to use the phone for a few months. I told them no, the phone was mine, and I paid for it with my money, and they couldn't do that. They said they also took the receipt, so even if I reported it, no one would believe me. Now I'm lost. I don't have another phone, and I spent everything I had on this one, and neither my dad nor my mom seemed to care about this injustice. I only used it for a few days before they took it from me. I don't know what to do. You can now check if there's a part 2 by pressing share and more. My mom took my new phone and gave it to my sister, saying she deserves it more. Part 2. I spent the whole week lying in bed, couldn't get up because I was demotivated. I worked for months to buy that phone, only to have it taken away from me in a minute. I know my mom, and I know my dad. My mom would never willingly return the phone, and my dad wouldn't care. In a week, he would invite my mom again, and both would forget about the issue. From what I heard, my sister has already put a password on the phone and said that even when she returns it, she won't remove the password, and I would have to ask her every time I wanted to unlock the phone. But one day, I woke up angry and decided to put an end to this. I went to my mom's house in the morning and told her I wanted the phone. She said it simply wouldn't happen, and my sister had already become attached to it, suggesting that I should buy another one since I had a job. I laughed and told her it would be better for her to return the phone now, or I would report her to the police. She said I wouldn't have the courage, and I just walked away. She called my dad and told him everything. As I searched for the digital receipt of the phone on our computer and printed it, my dad came to me, telling me to stop being spoiled and just give the phone to my sister without making a scene. I told him I didn't care what he said either, as all the blame for this happening was on him for not being a good father. After that, I grabbed the receipt and left home, hearing him shout for me to come back. Now, the typical family drama is unfolding. My mom offered to return the phone to me for 2 days a week and let my sister have it for the other 5 days if I dropped the charges, with the same rule of not removing the password. Obviously, I didn't accept, and 2 days later, they told me that since I chose to be spoiled, they had broken the phone. Now, none of us would have it. Besides the charges, I told them I would file a lawsuit against her for the phone and emotional distress. Obviously, this distressed both my mom and dad, and now both are begging me to forget and let it go, and they will find a way to get me another phone. I would have accepted before, but now I want my mom to pay for everything I went through. However, some family members are criticizing me, so I'm wondering if I'm wrong. Am I wrong? You can now check there's a part 3 by pressing share and more.